you feel about a business which can be killed or boosted by government movements? So in Italy, that what happened. We have the call 110% bonus, and they created a gigantic bubble, and then the government changes, they kill the bonus, and people start going bankrupt.
We got Berta. He's the director of global operations for Turbo Energy, publicly traded in the NASDAQ.
We operate across all European countries. We have projects in Africa, in Congo, South Africa.
Why the decision to enter the United States market?
Any company in the planet needs to be present in the United States once you reach a certain size if it wants to really hit the home run and big.
There's a lot of competition, obviously. What's the differentiating factor?
Our real innovative product is what we call the Sunbox. Our unique value proposition for the consumer, it's our artificial intelligence, which is actually learning every 5 minutes with a sole purpose to actually save on the electricity bill.
Speaking of Shark Tank, you were on Shark Tank. This guy was on Shark Tank in the Philippines. And you talked with President Trump before he was president for an hour.
When we were getting briefed all the selected candidates, we got the chance to spend like 30, 40 minutes with Trump, which of course back then nobody would have even thought would have become president.
You're a race car driver too, right?
It's a semi-professional thing I do.
How has race car driving impacted you as a business person?
I think any sport that you do brings you discipline, brings you confidence.
Tariffs, right? That's a big elephant in the room. How is that going to affect the whole solar energy market?
So it's...
Guys, we got a special guest today. We're going to flip the script a little bit. We're going to talk about energy storage, racing cars, being on the Apprentice, talking with President Donald Trump. We got Berta. He's the director of global operations for Turbo Energy, publicly traded in the NASDAQ. Mario, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
How you like SolarCon? How's this show been for you?
Listen, it's my first time to a solar conference ever. I'm coming from a totally different background. I think you guys are making solar great again.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. We're trying. Listen, solar, they call it the solar coaster, right? There's a lot of ups, it's a lot of downs, right? But I feel like we're at a point where it's consolidating right now. And the one thing I took away, we saw Abigail speak. She's a big live. She's the head of the director of SEIA, which is the Solar Energy Industrial Association. They do a lot of good stuff for solar. She was saying that solar energy has doubled year over year. And that's good because that's what's going on with Turbo Energy, right? So that's one bright spot, that solar energy is going to continue to grow. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so not only Abigail, also the guy of Freedom Solar, the market is only 4% penetrated.
Yeah.
In a market of 300 million people, that sounds to me like a tremendous opportunity. And the fact that technology is getting better, prices are going down of the actual equipment, but electricity cost is going up. So now the delta is becoming wider and wider, which will ultimately will result into an additional interest from the consumer.
Yes. So obviously Turbo Energy started, it's a European-based company, right? Valencia, Spain. There's operation in Chile and in Europe, coming to America, and where else? Did I miss anything?
We operate across all European countries. We have some on the commercial and industrial division. We have project in Africa, in Congo. We did South Africa. We have a strong presence in Chile because of our mother company is actually a much bigger organization that produce solar farms across the planet. And in Spain, the mother company built the biggest solar farm to date in Europe.
Mm-hmm. So everyone understands, Turbo Energy is not a startup. Turbo Energy has been around for a while.
We're a startup within a much larger organization. We don't run it as a startup. It's a structured organization already. We operate in an environment which is extremely regulated. And even within Europe, Italy has its own regulations. Spain has its own regulations. So we got to be extremely structured in the way we enter each market.
Got it. So why the decision to enter the United States market? Like what was the thought process behind that?
I mean, I think any company in the planet needs to be present in the United States once you reach a certain size if it wants to really hit the home run and big. The good news is, America, it's a very big market and the American consumism and dynamism, it's an amazing opportunity. The downside is that people here, and I know there's a tremendous difference between, a Europe solar conference and American solar conference. Here, people are very aggressive and they're down to make it happen and so on, which is good, but also makes it way more competitive.
Turbo Energy, United States, right? There's a lot of competition, obviously. there's the Teslas, the Enphases, the Franklins, right? What's the differentiating factor?
Yeah, so we for sure not try to compete on price. I think you never compete on price when you start to sell technology. The batteries that we all know is a battery for us is a commodity, just like for anybody else. Our real innovative product is what we call the Sunbox. So in simple terms, is a cabin, and the cabin will have all you need for your storage solution. It will contain the batteries, it will contain all the components, and it's actually a nicely designed item which is ultimately is going to be in your house, right? So you don't want scattered accessories that look ugly and can be touched by the kids or beaten by the dog. You know? So the cabin will contain everything. It's a simple, elegant, unique piece. You plug it in, and you're up and running with a storage solution. Our unique value proposition for the consumer, aside the design, it's our artificial intelligence, which is actually learning every 5 minutes. The Sunbox is shooting information to our servers and learning from the consumption pattern of the final consumer and adapting the switching on and off of the battery and buy from the grid with the sole purpose to actually save on the electricity bill.
And what kind of savings do you think the consumer is going to expect?
We have estimates that, with batteries, you will save 20% on electricity bill. With batteries and artificial intelligence, that 20% can go up to 41.
Yeah, and it seems to me, based on my understanding, that the key differentiating factor is the AI. There's two things. Is the ease of installation, right? 45 minutes to install versus hours. The sleekness is portable. You move from one home to another. You can bring it with you easily. And also the AI component, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And in the AI component, are you not seeing that in the competition at all? Like, you would think there'd be some sort of...
Anybody that, any player that allows you to download an app, it adds AI, Like any company now is talking about AI because they allow the stock to go up if they put AI in their investor update. Our thing is real. Like, our servers are churning in and out information every 5 minutes. And if you have a kid, let's say you have a kid, your consumption pattern in the house changed dramatically from one day, right? Somebody's gonna stay in the house way more because the kid is in the house, so the consumption pattern will change. Our system is able to detect this kind of consumption pattern in a week.
There's a new endeavor called Roofs in the Box. It's just, man, from day one, it's taken off.
When I first started getting into the roofing industry, what was happening was my fixed costs were always there. And so for me, I was looking at how can we kind of, one, save on these costs, and then two, how do I not lay people off during down times? But also maybe even the ability to pocket more money during the slow season or even the peak season. Since we've done this before, like with our lead gen companies where we have virtual staffing and from Argentina or Colombia, I'm like, why don't we do the same thing in the construction business? Now, once we figured it out, so we reduced their fixed cost by 70%. And so now during the downtime, they have real seasoned veteran type of players. But during the uptime, they pocket 70% of their operational costs are now going back in their pocket. And then when it's time to scale, they have the back end prepared, already ready to go to help them like lift off. Depending on what state you're in, you're averaging about 12.5% on what you pay out on taxes, insurance, all the different insurances that you have to pay out, right? So yeah, you don't have to pay out unemployment, you don't have to pay out FICA insurance, Medicare, Social Security, the things that business owners have to eat.
Roofs in the Box is not just limited to roofing or home improvement companies.
You can use it for any services, right? You can use it for IT. We use them internally for data sales, for hygiene, for analytics. It doesn't even matter what the vertical is.
Like business in the box at the end of the day.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it does it for you, right? The user doesn't have, the homeowner doesn't have to do
anything.
It monitors almost like you know that Whoop? One of those things, like it monitors that and it gives it, and it does it automatically for you.
Correct.
Saying. That's amazing. So what do you think are, especially now, listen, tariffs, right? That's a big elephant in the room. Everyone here is talking about it. Like, how is that going to affect the whole solar energy market? Obviously, it's affecting it.
I mean, it will affect everyone and will affect everyone in the same level. So it's unfair for the industry, but nobody will really have a competitive advantage unless we'll be capable to produce battery in US, which if even we start today to build the factory, it will be live in 4 years. So I don't think it's a problem of today because everybody will have the same problem. It will squeeze everybody out. It will squeeze margin out. Ultimately, the consumer will be impacted by it because if we want to acquire a solar system, we'll have higher capex, so investment. So honestly, I don't know how this is going to play out. But we'll do our best to contain costs and not to pass it on to the consumer.
Based on what I saw here, Solar's having a lot of challenges right now overall, but the energy mark and the energy storage part component, that's the bright spot right now. And that made me feel positive coming out of here because I've been at this show, I've been in solar since 2016, and it was a rocket ship up to about 2022, early 2023. And a lot of things have changed, but the one thing that's going up right now, where the money's flowing, is definitely energy source. So I feel that's a bright spot, and you guys are entering at a good time.
I agree, and I think today with the Shark Tank guys,
that was
I
awesome.
asked a very interesting question. How do you feel about a business which can be killed or boosted by government movements? Right? So in Italy, that what happened. We have the call 110% bonus, and everybody was building solar panel and upgrading it, and they created a gigantic bubble. People start stockpiling solar panel and batteries and so on, and then the government changes, they kill the bonus, and people start going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So I think, mostly as a solar stakeholder, as an economist, I would say the market has to figure it out that anything can happen. Anybody can be in the White House or in European Union. The market has to be fluid and figured out with or without government subsidies, because you never know what's going to happen next.
Correct. And also another big thing is climate change, right? All these disasters, Texas, Florida, all these parts in America, people are without power for days, right? It's terrible. So that's the other component of it. It's not only just saving money on your electric bill or the AI component, it's also about having that backup.
Yeah.
Which is what you should have.
Let me give you 2 user cases.
Yeah.
We provided a bigger version of the Sunbox for commercial industries on military. They were building camps in the Middle East, and they only have solar power, right? Or gasoline, right? So we provided batteries. They installed solar panel on the ground. The solar panel were producing energy throughout the day, and gigantic battery of the size of 20-feet container were getting charged over the day throughout the day, and the night they will be able to light up camps based on that technology. And another case we have, Chile has exactly the same problem in California. Chile has tremendous shortage and outage of electricity, and a earthquake hit Santiago a month ago. I mean, it happens all the time. It was really bad, and the whole city was offline for like a couple of days. And suddenly we start to have a spike on orders for our commercial industry division in Chile because of that reason.
Wow. So that's a real case use scenario that you could apply to anywhere in America that has these issues, for Florida, Texas, whatever.
Right.
I'm from New Jersey, right? And New Jersey used to always be isolated from these issues. You hear about hurricanes in Florida, the Carolinas. But recently, Jersey and New York have been getting hit with hurricanes as well. Power out for several days. So it's not just because of what's going on in the world with climate change. It's not everything. The world has been flipped, but the one thing that's certain, that people need energy. You need electricity, right? You need to cook your food and everything. So that's the one thing that I love about the product, and that's why I think this is only going to continue to grow. And at the end of the day, listen, these tariffs are talk. It's been all talk. Nothing's been signed yet. So who knows? People say 145% now. It might be 5%. It might be 10%. It might be who the hell knows, right? But at the end of the day, people need electricity, and they can
I
live
think
without
what is cool about it in a very, very long run, it's being autonomous from the grid,
Yes.
right? You can build your house in the middle of nowhere in Kansas City or in the desert in Fuerteventura in Spain, and you don't need anything, right? You have electricity. You don't even need the internet because you can get Starlink as long as it has electricity.
Yeah.
Right. So I think in the long run, be completely autonomous from the grid. I think it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the show here, right? You said this is your first solar show. We're going to be going to one in September called RE Plus. That's way bigger than that. That had 40,000 people.
Where is it?
It's in, I think it's in Vegas or Anaheim. But anyway,
You really want to bankrupt me, huh?
yeah. It's going to be fun though. But what I was going to say to you is that what did you learn coming here? And obviously I know the European market is way different than the American market, but what was like your big takeaway?
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway is that, for us in Europe, solar, it's a boring business. It's a profitable business, but there is no royalty or novelty in being an installer, being a billion-dollar company selling solar panels. There's no novelty. People are not really proud of it. Listen, it's a business. There is demand, so we supply the demand. There is no coolness about it. Here, people are excited. Like the guy of Forever Freedom, it looks like he's building a cult on solar installations.
Yeah.
So you embrace this business. It is cool and it's funny and it's profitable and all of this stuff. So I find this very fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like trendy.
Yeah, they make it trendy. They make it
Yeah.
trendy. Yeah, that's the right word.
And you mentioned also the social media, right? That you don't see, it's not as buzzy on social media in Europe as it is here. Here you see people walking around, they're doing content, right?
It looks like we are more on a fashion show than a solar conference, right?
Yeah, with the Shark Tank, the guys from Shark Tank, Damon John, who is it? This guy.
Kevin, David, and the guy that I did.
Yeah, it was interesting. Robert, don't forget. Yo, Robert, we shared our post. Bam, baby, LFG Show blowing up, man. How you like these guns, man? I need a vet, man, because these puppies are sick.
Very good, very good.
So speaking of Shark Tank, you were on Shark Tank. This guy was on Shark Tank in the Philippines, and you talked with President Trump before he was president for an hour. Let's talk about those experiences.
So I in my life, I joined 2 reality shows.
Yeah.
One when I was very young, The Apprentice in Spain, called El Aprendiz.
Okay.
And it was a franchise, so it's the same format. I mean, things you guys know. And when we were getting brief, all the selected candidates, we got the chance to spend like, I don't remember how much it was, I think 30, 40 minutes with Trump.
Yeah.
Which of course, back then, nobody would have even thought he would have become president.
So what year was this?
Wow.
20.
I was 21, so it was 19 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So right.
Wow, that was like
And I was the
2006.
only foreigners in The Apprentice Spain. I managed to arrive halfway through it, so I got fired in the middle.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, throughout my life, I landed in the Philippines for business. And then with my own very business, I went as a participant in Shark Tank Philippines called The Final Pitch, run by a gentleman called John Aguilar. And I won it.
Yeah. So you won.
I won it.
Wow,
We raised
congratulations.
$1,000.
You got $1,000?
300,000.
Oh, you want 300,000?
We'll not get out of bed.
Fucking guy, man. Your drinks on you today, man. I was buying
I
drinks
spent them
last
all
night.
already. It was,
Fuck, it don't
it was
matter,
years
bro.
ago.
That's all good. That's great, man. But so you I want to talk about your business career, right? Because you're very interesting. You're a fascinating guy.
Thank you.
In the sense that you've traveled all over, right? You speak multiple languages. What led you to the Philippines? And let's talk. I know you had a business that got acquired. Let's talk about that.
So I landed in the Philippines because of my consulting jobs. So I did my MBA, left for consulting. Consulting landed me in various countries, among them Philippines. Then I worked for a German group called Rocket Internet, which in the US you guys don't know it, but in Europe it's a very, very popular group on the tech scene. And then I built my own business, which was like an Airbnb for office space, which I sold a few years ago. And then I specialized myself in kind of like being a consultant in commercial restructuring of businesses, right? And that's kind of what I'm working on with Turbo. Not that Turbo needs a restructuring, but my job in this case is to turbocharge business. So I'm in charge of internationalization of the product.
It's a perfect role for you, especially going into a new market, right? You've had experience doing that. How has, I guess I answer my own question, but how has that experience shaped you? I mean, I can imagine I never lived in Asia. I've been to Asia. I've been to Singapore. I've been to Thailand, but you actually lived there, man. And how do you think that impacted your career, your business acumen?
Obviously tremendous. So the number one thing, and I want to sound so obvious here, but when you are, I'm Italian, and for 20 years, I haven't worked in Europe a single day in my life.
Wow.
I graduated, and my first country as a businessman in consulting was Papua New Guinea. It's the other side of the world. So since day one of my career, I've been outside of my comfort zone. Since day one of my career, it was in a different language that wasn't Italian. Since day one of my career, I have to interface myself and sometimes confront myself with culture which are way different than mine. Because one thing is being an Italian and dealing with Spanish or American, we're kind of Western. But the other thing is dealing with Singaporean and Indonesian and Thai and Filipinos and so on.
Yeah.
So I have to be extremely adaptable and completely out of my comfort zone from day one.
When I first heard of Roofs in a Box, I thought, no way could everything be combined in one platform, from your CRM to AI to even virtual assistant helping manage all these things together. It has completely changed my business, and I couldn't be where I'm at without it. So over the last 8 months or so, I've saved at least $1 million on what it would cost salary-wise to hire the engineer. I wouldn't have been able to do what I've done without Roofs in a Box, or be able to do what I am currently doing without Roofs in a Box. If you are looking to scale, get your business organized, or get it ready to to sell, definitely want to give Roofs in a Box a call. They'll get everything tightened up, get you set up to do whatever you need to do for a fraction of the cost. Not everybody's got $1 million just laying around. Hire operations managers and have their own call center. So give Roofs in a Box a call, they'll get it taken care of.
Got it. So what do you think that's one, I don't know if this is why a lot of businesses fail or business people don't make it. You think because they don't step out of the comfort zone, or maybe they don't know how to adjust?
It's various things. I don't think people that are not constantly out of the comfort zone, they will not be succeeding. But if you're constantly out of your comfort zone, you're ready for impact on pretty much that happens to you in life, right? So if any problems you thrown at me, I'm gonna turn it around and fix it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I gain a lot of appreciation for you, or I don't know what the word it is. I guess respect. I gain a lot of respect because we just told you about this show not even a week ago. I don't think it was like 6 days ago. You were in where were you, in Italy or Spain? You were in Spain. And listen, you should come to Vegas. I think it'd be worth you coming here. And then you came, man. You know, it took you 20 hours to get here. You came.
Economy.
Economy. You didn't sleep much, and you had some bad coffee. You know, so you drank some Dunkin' Donuts. I know that's not what you used to drink in Spain or Italy. So you stepped out of your comfort zone, man. So I really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. We appreciate you guys as a partner. And it's mostly that, you know, something I learned is that you got to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, the people don't show up, these guys, they will never win.
Exactly.
Okay? You got to show up, right? I'm a guy I fly 150 days a year. I've been in 70 plus countries. I get invited to Tajikistan, I go. No questions about it. If they invite me to Paris and the same day they invite me to Kazakhstan, I prefer to go to Kazakhstan because I've never been.
Yeah.
And now I've been to Kazakhstan.
Wow.
But what I mean is that you gotta show up in anything you do.
Yeah.
Right? The guy that doesn't show up, close shit.
I love that. I read somewhere someone said 99% of success is showing up. You got to be there. And I'm the same way. Every year I do over 100 flights. I go places and I always get at least one thing where no one else gets anything. I find one thing or one connection, right? So I think that's amazing. Another thing about stepping outside your comfort zone is you're a race car driver too, right?
I really have not to tell you my stuff. Huh? You turn out all my dirty laundry.
Yeah, listen, I got it all up here.
It's a semi-professional thing I do. I embraced it a few years ago. I think it's unbelievable the level of things you can do once you're in a car racing mood. I get no chance by now to be anywhere a champion, any Formula, any NASCAR, any Le Mans, any 24 hours, any Mille Miglia. But you know, it's cool. I like it. I enjoy doing. It's adrenalinic. I love it.
What got you into that?
It started in the Philippines with the Radical Cars Championship.
Okay. And this is something, how long have you been doing it for?
7 years.
7 years. So, but you were on the yesterday, Sunvina, one of the big sponsors of the show. They have like
The simulator.
some $30,000 simulator, man. I lost money, man. I bet on you. I was telling people that you had no experience. Meanwhile, you did. I was trying to hustle them, and meanwhile, I lost, man. I think you were in with those other guys.
But the guy was on the simulator. Every simulator works really differently. Like when you are really in a racetrack, you kind of like in heaven, right? You live in your own world. You know, you're wired with the car. You become one with the car.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I mean, it's funny. I was at a show. I was in Colorado a year and a half ago, and they did a race car thing, and man, I was nervous, man. These cars are so powerful. It's almost like a beast, right? And they had someone in my ear, turn, and like, I was scared, man. I could see how you could lose control really easily. I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I only did that once, and it's tight. Like you get in there, and like you have to squeeze in there. So
You need to start with karting.
with karting? Okay,
That's how everybody starts.
got it.
And the physical demand of karting, it's unbelievable because you have a very high ratio horsepower per kilos, right? So karts, maybe they weight 80 kilos, but certain cars, they have up to 30 or 40 horsepower. So that's a ratio of 2, right? The Porsche GT3 has 550 horsepower, but it weighs 1.5 tons.
Yeah.
Right? So the physical demand when you're steering on a Porsche GT3 is much lower than karting.
Interesting. Yeah, that it's fascinating. But let me ask you, because do you think, and the answer is probably yes, but how has race car driving and doing something that's so adrenaline packed, and you have to have control too. How has that impacted you as a business person? You think it gives you an edge?
Yeah, I mean, I think any sports that you do, athletic or semi-athletic, brings you discipline, brings you confidence, it brings you some sort of, of course, the health aspect of it, right? Who said, I remember reading, like, there is a guy, very famous guy in America, says, I don't hire fat people.
He doesn't hire fat people? Oh, Andy Elliott probably.
Yeah, the guy.
Yeah.
If you're fat,
He was here last
you're
year.
insulting yourself, so you can't be good at anything, right? So, I mean, I wouldn't take it to that extreme, obviously. I think that, I mean, you know me already. We've been together for 2 days. Like, I woke up in the morning, 4 espresso, and the gym. There is nothing in my life before, right?
Yeah.
After I finish the gym, then I can start, I can be the nuclear power plant, and I am, right? But you got to be consistent, right? So that's what kind of helps you. That's what kind of helps.
I love that. So you've traveled, you've been all over the world. What's your favorite place in the world?
Spain,
Spain, like in Madrid or?
Madrid. That's why I live there.
And why exactly?
It's a combination of objective and subjective thing, The vibrancy of Madrid, it's something I haven't seen anywhere else in the planet, right? And I've been in, like I said, 73 countries, hundreds plus cities. I was a month and a half ago in Rio, and it was something similar, right? The vibrancy of Rio, it's a city integrated with the beach. Everybody's very laid back, and people start drinking caipirinha at 4 p.m. So kind of the vibrancy is the closest I've been. But it's a metropolitan city. It's very safe. It's super clean. He has business school. He has businesses, top restaurants. It's still reasonably affordable, right? So all these combinations, I think, made it Madrid the best city in the world.
That's amazing. I would have expected you to say another city, but I've been to Madrid a few times. I like it a lot, but you live there. I mean, you know it way more than I do.
Language, I live there.
Yeah.
My friends are there. I have my house, so.
Got it, man. Well, listen, I'm glad we got to do this. I can't wait for the future. You coming, you're gonna be spending more time obviously in America, and I think that the future is bright.
You're gonna give me a green card too, or what?
We'll see. Maybe it might be tougher now with the administration, but
okay.
Listen, we'll figure out. There's that $5 million visa.
At the time, it's fine. I can handle it.
Maybe we could do the $5 million gold visa. That's what we could do. That might be.
We gotta sell a couple of Sunbox for that.
Yeah, Sunbox. Yeah, we'll do a Super Duty one for the White House. Make it happen. How can people get in touch with you, find out more about you, Mario?
Well, I mean, LinkedIn. We're gonna post this on LinkedIn, on social media. Mario Stark with double K.
Okay.
You can see all my peak performance classes, my driving stuff, my business stuff. Everything is there.
I love it. All right, guys, you heard it. Mario. I interviewed someone from Italy one time, and he said, let's fucking go in Italian. I forgot how he said it. How do you say it? Let's fucking go in Italian. How do you do it?
Let's fucking go in Italian.
Yeah, like this guy.
Andiamo avanti, something like this.
I think he said something else. Yamavant. It's all that matters.
Get ready to level your shit up with the LFG Show. We travel the globe to bring you heavy hitters from all walks of life. We've been talking some serious business, from the best digital marketers, government contracting experts, to top athletic and celebrity doctors. We've got it all covered. We're talking to guys with cash in for billions with a B. And the best thing is, we're just getting started. So hold on tight. We're about to crank it up a notch. Get ready for next level networking and masterminds within the LFG community. Scared money don't make no money or honey. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, and let's fucking go.